I spent way too much money to get shafted. I got nothing. I had to ticket 1 copy, and then on Kraken I got only 2 rocks. Awful night, if you ask me. Okay, really bad shaft. That said, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the summer Elegg version, right? With this new beautiful waifu that we just got. Kind of like a first impressions. There is a lot to test with her, so this is gonna be like a really rough first impressions. Take everything here with a grain of salt. Still, she is shaping, in my opinion, to be just like Winter Maiden, so a T1 character, literally the same situation as her, where she's gonna be used for elemental content and on raids, and she's gonna be always using those elemental raids. But outside of there, unless you wanna be buffing your Dorothy specifically, it's really hard to justify bringing her. And even if you wanna bring your buff your Doro, if it's not elemental content, it's wasted because there is no elemental damage. That said, let's talk a little bit about this. Before we start, as usual, hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's topic, first impressions on Elegg, Boom and Shock. She looks really good. Leave a like, subscribe, and to the channel, and let's jump directly into what's going on with her. There is a few things to understand with Elegg and why we're comparing her with Maiden. She needs to stack up the max amount of ghost instead of mana like Maiden, and then when you have max stacks, you can either keep max stacks in order to every 6 seconds be dealing extra damage, which is pretty decent, as you can see on skill 2, 950% of final attack when you capture the ghost and you are at max ghost capacity, aka 13, or you could be bursting with her at max capacity to be doing basically 690 sequentially 13 times and then decreasing the amount of ghost you have. The biggest difference with Maiden is that when we talk about Maiden, you can only burst once per battle because how long it takes to get the stacks, the mana. When it comes to Elegg, you can burst twice per battle, almost 3 times, but right now it's 2. Depending on your team composition, and if you are going like a full machine gun team, for some reason, you could be getting 3 bursts, but let's say it's 2. So this is gonna be giving her bigger personal damage, but the buffs are pretty much the same, be it for Electro with Maiden or for Water with Elegg. That said, when we were testing earlier, and again, we will have to be running more tests later, it looks like you actually want to be bursting with her at least a couple times per battle, because you're getting decent increase in damage. We went from a 1.4 bursting twice, to 1.3 bursting 1, to just 1 build not bursting with her. So at least 1, I will say, is nice at the end of the battle. If you don't want to be breaking your other 2 DPSs, you could be doing it basically just 1 time per battle. As you can see, when we bursted once, our Doro got almost 500 mil extra damage. When we bursted twice, since we were stealing the burst from Doro, she got down to 4 bill. And the difference in damage between bursting twice or once is not that big, so I would not bother. Now, important, of course, this is my Elegg right now. Only 2 pieces, no attack, no nothing, a pretty bare bones Elegg. She will be going a lot better, and tomorrow I'm gonna be stealing Molky's account to test, because as you can see, she's doing really good. This is a 168k combat power doing 2 billion versus a 173k combat power Hell doing 1.3. And then he has a really invested Guillotine doing 2.6. So tomorrow I'm gonna be stealing that account to keep testing and seeing what's going on, because right now on mine I don't have the resources, sadly, in order to test it. I have the resources for the doll. I can take the doll to phase 15, I can take the skills to level 10, but it's worthless if you cannot get decent lines. Right now, Nikkei, in terms of gear, I hope soon we are getting like actually a way of getting more rocks, because it's nowhere near enough. It's nowhere near enough. Between the amount of characters they release and how dogshit the reroll system is, it's impossible. Now, that said, like I was saying earlier, I'm pretty sure the new Elegg is going to be a T1 character. As of right now, the characters that are in here on the T1 are characters that are usually either elemental girls that we use as buffers, or directly great DPSs that are just not meta everywhere. It also depends on how often we're getting those raids, because I'm gonna be honest, both Maiden and Elegg could be considered a T2 character. Something that is situational. Because yeah, their damage is decent, but they are not hyper carries, and their elemental buffs are only usable if the boss is weak to the specific element. So right now, I'm leaning towards the T1 after we keep testing tomorrow, and it looks like she's gonna be also kinda cheap to build, because you don't really need to be worrying about level 10 on any of her skills. Of course, if you want to be bursting once or twice per battle with her, you might want to be bringing this burst skill to level 10, right? Outside of that, you can be going like a 7-7-10 and you are good to go. One of the things that she has as well is that she needs to have at least another machine gun on the team. just so you can be getting this hit count faster. Depending on how many machine guns you have or the weapons you have on your team, it's gonna be easier to be proccing this and to be getting your ghosts as well. When it comes to the cube, just like any machine gun in the world, you wanna go Bastion over Resilience if you get good max ammunition lines. If you don't get max ammo, like I only have 2 pieces of overload, you go Resilience because machine guns are just slow, 2.5 seconds, bro, really slow. Other than that, when it comes to water, honestly, we go into water. Water is getting stronger now because we have the new Doro, we have the Helm Treasure, we have both Arcor and Mass as like a really good buffer pair. Ludmilla has always been a fantastic character for bossing. The new Taupe Treasure, I don't count her as like water, you use her for shotgun teams. And then Doro, sadly, the normal Doro has been falling off. Greedy is incredible, and we do not talk about it, okay? We don't talk about Milk Treasure, there is nothing to talk about. But water is getting a little bit better right now. I will say it's still one of the weakest elements, because now with Doro, we finally have an hyper carry, but even then, I will say it's probably one of the weakest elements. They're in a situation where they went from one of the strongest to one of the worst elements, just like Tetra went from the best manufacturer to the worst manufacturer. Now, that said, before I forget, should we be pulling for dupe Sefhi? Should I be going for one copy? What's going on with her? A lot of her skills are final max attack, both on the skill 2 and on her burst. For the skill 1, it doesn't really matter. So dupes will be benefiting her a lot. The doll will benefit her, dupes benefit her, just going for higher CP overall, right? The thing is, only for water raids, I will say a copy is more than enough. I think MLD is kind of a waste unless she's your waifu. In that case, absolutely go for it. But for most people, I will say a copy is a safe investment, just like getting a copy of your Ice Maiden would be a safe investment for the Electro team. I also think the biggest difference with the Electro team is that Electro is already super defined. Like you have your Cindy, your Rogue, your Sameranis, your Ain, your Maria as a buffer, your Ice Maiden as a secondary buffer. Like there is plenty of options, even with Arcana Ace above right now, in contrast to Water, where it's a lot more limited. So that's why I will say Ice Maiden is still better in that regard, just because the amount of characters she can buff. But this type of characters are literally only good if Shift Up decides to make those raids, those specific raids weak to Electro or Water. So one copy, in my opinion, more than enough. If you want to go for an MLB on anyone this summer, go for Doro. And also, I will say you can skip Sakura and also Rosana. That's it, that's gonna be for this one. Just a quick, again, 30 rough first impressions. I wanna be testing tomorrow because it's quite late already, it's past midnight, and tomorrow there's a few updates on multiple gachas. So that's it, we will be live while testing tomorrow as well. Feel free to drop by. Good luck with your pool generates. I'll see you in the next one.